Hello, good people. Welcome to our weekly edition of The Situation. If you're catching us for the first time, remember we bring you a weekly program here at The Situation. Now, I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody who has subscribed to our channel. And if you're bumping into this video for the first time, I would ask you to take a minute of your time to hit the subscribe button so that anytime we produce videos on our weekly show, you get notified. Do not forget to turn on your notification button. We want to have a glimpse of what has been happening around the world this week. So things have happened, guys, and the coronavirus pandemic has swept the globe, infecting more than 6.3 million people and killing at least 300,000 more. Now, at a time when countries are scrambling to prop up their economies, ramp up their testing efforts in order to lower the rate of infections, the news cycle around the globe has continuously been dominated with pandemic headlines. But there is news outside the pandemic. So let's have a sneak peek of what has been going on around the world. But still on the coronavirus pandemic, researchers around the world are burning the midnight oil in order to find a formidable solution to this pandemic. For example, in Germany, the Helmholtz Center for Environmental Research is working day and night to ensure that they find a better solution to counter the coronavirus pandemic. They have come up with a raft of measures to ensure that the citizens of Germany and probably the rest of the world is cushioned or are cushioned against the attacks or the pangs of the coronavirus. Now, these leading researchers have realized that the sewage treatment plants may actually hold the key to an early detection of any new wave of coronavirus. Now, we might be wondering now, how the hell can this work? But the idea is very simple. These leading researchers are now sampling wastewater from plants serving some of the largest cities in Germany. And they are trying to find out the evidence of the coronavirus. So the ultimate goal is for almost all sewage treatment plants to be installed with a coronavirus early warning system so as to track the spread of COVID-19. Now, the concept is fairly simple. Now, sewage contains remnants of the virus from human feces. Now, if these concentrations in the sewage suddenly jump up, then the sewage plant will detect and then alert the authorities. Then the authorities will be able to take action and begin targeted testing of the areas in question. So this will enable them actually understand if there is a new wave of coronavirus in the offing so that they can mitigate it with promptitude. Again, good news in Brazil. There is a baby, a 5-month-old baby that has survived the coronavirus. The baby was diagnosed with COVID-19 immediately after birth. This baby, by the name Dom, has spent 54 days in quarantine. Out of these 54 days, 32 of them were spent in an induced coma and in ventilators. So the baby has finally survived the coronavirus pandemic. That is actually good news. So guys, we do not have to forget, we need to keep sanitizing, we need to keep social distance, we need to ensure that we self-isolate in case we suspect that we have coronavirus, or probably immediately get testing in order to ascertain whether we have the virus or not. This will be helpful to the whole world. And another good news is that countries of the world are now easing down their lockdowns. They are in the final phases, most of the countries, and actually they are opening borders very soon. In June, many countries will be opening their borders. Some of them will be opening their borders in May, some of them in August. So this one means that finally the world is going to be open once again, and people will be able to travel, people will be able to resume businesses. The new normal will end pretty soon. But then we have to play our part as citizens of the world and let our government also play their part. So news outside the coronavirus pandemic that has hit headlines throughout the week was actually the murder of George Floyd, an unarmed black man who was kind of choked to death by the Minneapolis police. The police knelt on his neck for a record 8 minutes, and George Floyd finally succumbed to this. Now, at least 9,300 people have been arrested across the United States amid the ongoing protests over the death of George Floyd. People have been rioting, people have been protesting under the hashtag Black Lives Matter. This hashtag has been trending for the better part of the week. And we can see protests even in some countries of the world, France, Germany. We saw protests also on the Black Lives Matter in Britain, in London. So this is something that has sparked a lot of controversies, and people have begun to question the place of a black man in Trump's United States. Not only in the Trump's United States, but the elements of racism has been there from time immemorial. So it is high time the issues are addressed, and that is the message the protesters are trying to send to the authorities and of course to the rest of the world. Now, we've seen a lot going on within those protests. We've seen some good policemen trying to ask for forgiveness. For example, in New York, when the policemen were approached by the protesters, they actually knelt down and begged for forgiveness. And we've seen very beautiful pictures of a United States of America, not just in the name, but in the action as well. Both blacks and whites, coming together to protest and to demand justice for the family of George Floyd. They are beautiful pictures all over. In George Floyd's hometown of Houston, we saw the parishioners kneeling down and praying together with the black community and asking for forgiveness. And so many other videos have gone viral. Beautiful videos have gone viral with the same message. So Black Lives Matter, and the privileged ones, the white community, have also come out very strongly in support of equality and an end to racism. We also saw a beautiful photo of protesters singing in unison, in unity, outside the White House. So George Floyd's death has actually been very, very, very condemned all over the world. China, for example, has weighed in. On Saturday, Hua Chunying, a spokeswoman for the China's foreign ministry, tweeted, "I can't breathe." She was tweeting this to, reiterate China's position on racism, that China stands with the black community and the rest of the world in condemning what happened to George Floyd. But there can be more to this also. We can see that the relationship between China and the United States has been very sour. And the "I can't breathe" tweet by Hua Chunying probably is a message that China is also being choked under the armpits of the United States, and they're just trying to send a message. We've seen a lot of hostility between these two countries in terms of the trade deals and also the coronavirus pandemic. Trump has been on record accusing China as the origin of coronavirus. He's also several times called it the Chinese virus. So China is also getting choked by the weight of the United States of America. So the tweet, "I can't breathe," might as well be calling for justice for George Floyd, but it might also be telling the world that China is overwhelmed and is choking at the weight of America in terms of how America, or how the relationship between America and China is concerned. Yeah, so a lot of things have been going on around the world, ladies and gentlemen. But then if you look at China condemning the US, or racism in the US, this might as well be the case of the pot calling the kettle black, because China has also been on the limelight, for racism. Just months ago, we saw tweets, we saw videos going viral of the black community in China getting discriminated against in Guangzhou. We saw a lot of images of black people being chased out of the accommodations, being denied entries and access to restaurants and some other vital public places. So China condemning the US, or racism in the US, is the case of a pot calling the kettle black. But well then, away from the coronavirus pandemic and the protests that are going on in the US, a lot are also happening in Africa. So let us move to Nigeria, and this is good news. A Nigerian king has actually built a school for the poor, something that many leaders are not doing. The king, by the name of Bolorin of the Osun State, has built a school. The school is called Bolorin College in Okela, Osun State. This school is exclusively for the poor, but brilliant students. The school offers free accommodation, the school offers free meals, the school offers free tuition, and free everything. And one of the qualifications of being enrolled as a student in this school is a poor background and brilliance. So you must be brilliant and you must come from a poor background for you to be enrolled in this particular school. So it is a school exclusively for the poor. This is good news, and we want to take this opportunity here at the situation to congratulate King Bolorin of Osun State. You have done what many African leaders cannot do. So we want to praise you for this. And one interesting thing regarding this school, the king himself is part of the tutors, of the instructors. He's teaching in this particular school. So you can imagine, out of his busy schedule, he takes time to go teach in this particular school. What a beauty, what a wonderful gesture from the king, from Igwe himself. So we salute you, Igwe. What about in Kenya? At the backdrop of coronavirus in Kenya, there's a lot of politics going on. Kenya is politicking. Remember, the election is scheduled for 2022. But what is going on in Kenya is as if the elections are there tomorrow. A lot of things have happened in the course of the week, beginning with the ouster of Moses Wetangula at the helm of the Ford Kenya politics. Moses Wetangula was kicked out as the chairman of Ford Kenya. This is amidst the backdrop of coronavirus. We've seen a lot of politics going on, beginning with Atuoli's meeting in Kajiado. Atuoli bringing the loyal leaders together in Kajiado. And apparently it is believed that Moses Wetangula's goose was cooked in this Kajiado meeting where over 30 MPs and 3 governors attended at the invitation of Atuoli himself. Whatever was discussed there is yet unclear, but a day after this meeting, Moses Wetangula was kicked out of the Ford Kenya chairmanship. So probably that he was one of the agenda because he did not attend. Moses Wetangula and Mudavadi did not attend. Maybe what has it that they were not invited. So his goose was cooked there. And we saw Musalia Mudavadi standing in solidarity with Moses Wetangula. Musalia Mudavadi condemned the act, the ouster of Moses Wetangula, and he blamed 2 people. He blamed Atuoli, and he also blamed a NASA leader. A NASA leader, of course, we know that is Raila Odinga. Although Musalia Mudavadi did not mention him by name, but the de facto leader of NASA is Raila Odinga. So technically, Musalia Mudavadi was referring to him. Delegations of Luhya leaders have been seen visiting Raila Odinga as well. Especially, we saw the other day the picture of Raila Odinga, Wanyonyi, and Eugene Wamalwa. So, what people are suspecting that these are the 2 guys behind Moses Wetangula's woes. So another major political event that took place in Kenya was the convergence of the Jubilee Parliamentary Group meeting at State House, led by His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy, William Ruto. This is the meeting where several members of parliament, allied to Deputy William Ruto, were actually addressed by the president for the first time, face-to-face address to them by the president. And one has it that President Uhuru Kenyatta read the Riot Act to them. And as we also saw some of the members of parliament, the majority whips, the majority chief whip, being, de-whipped or being moved from their current positions. And immediately after this, there was a press statement from State House by Kanzadena. It read, "Today's parliamentary group meeting endorsed Honorable Justin B. Muturi to continue serving as the Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Moses Cheboy to continue serving as the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Aden Duale to continue serving as the Majority Leader in the National Assembly, and Honorable Jimmy Angwenyi to continue serving as the Deputy Majority Leader." The parliamentary group meeting replaced Honorable Benjamin Washiali as the Majority Whip with Honorable Emmanuel Wabwe. Honorable Cecily Mbarire was replaced by Honorable Richard Maoka Maore as the Deputy Whip. Further, the party leader appointed Honorable Amos Kimunya to serve as the Secretary of the Jubilee Joint Coalition Parliamentary Group Meeting, signed by Kanzadena. So you can see a lot of politics aligned to 2022 succession politics going on here. Remember just the other day, Kindiki was removed as the Senate Majority Leader, and there was actually an outcry in Meru that President was sidelining the Meru community. But in a quick rejoinder, we've seen Honorable Richard Maoka Maore, who is also hailing from Meru, being appointed the Deputy Chief Whip. So one out, another one in. So the president is trying to balance, his politics so that he does not lose from Meru. And probably that is one of the reasons the politics of balance, ethnic balance, might have been the major reason why Aden Duale was spared the axe. The Somali factor. Somali is considered a minority group, especially the clan where Aden Duale is coming from. And therefore, the president deemed it fit to spare Aden Duale so as to not anger the Somali community. Remember, their vote is very vital for the president's candidate in 2022. At the same time, the likes of Yusuf Haji reigned over the president, pleaded with the president to spare Aden Duale and so on and so forth. So Aden Duale survived the axe, but his allies or his colleagues, the other allies of the deputy president, were shown the door from their respective, positions in parliament. That said and done, another major event as we come to the conclusion was the celebration of the Madaraka Day. The Madaraka Day celebration. We saw the deputy president coming to this occasion to State House for the first time after a very long time. And the deputy president's supporters were actually excited to see him invited to State House and actually allowed to speak. After a very long time, he was the person who invited the president to speak, something that had not happened for a long time. So the deputy president's supporters were very elated, they were very excited, and Twitter was flooded with, you could see, happiness, on their posts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or generally in social media, led by Itumbi himself. So this was another major political event. And we also saw the bromance between Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy actually coming to light one more time. We saw them laughing together at the end of the celebration, and they were also putting on almost similar suits, something they were known for when they assumed office in 2013. So this was a major political event, and it actually made the deputy president's supporters very happy. And of course, it sent a lot of chills within the circles of Honorable Raila Odinga. And it actually put also on the spot the handshake politics. People were wondering whether the president was genuine or is still genuine in honoring the handshake and also the BBI, politics. So these are some of the things that happened. And people were actually wondering whether what Aden Duale said was true. Remember when Aden Duale said that the president is just using Raila Odinga, and the time will come when he will dump Raila Odinga and go back to the deputy president, Uhuru Kenyatta. They were just using Raila Odinga to ensure that the president completes his term smoothly. Raila Odinga was a thorn in the flesh. So probably that politics also came in after Madaraka Day, when President Uhuru Kenyatta and the deputy were seen bromancing one more time. And later that night, Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta were spotted in the CBD. They were riding together in a probox. So again, that was a big debate. That was a very big debate. It happened just after President and his deputy were seen laughing and enjoying themselves one more time. Then later that night, President and Raila Odinga riding in a probox within the CBD, apparently inspecting development projects within the CBD. That also left political analysts wondering what actually the president and Raila Odinga are up to. Whether the president was just trying to appease Raila supporters, because they were now grumpy after seeing the bromance one more time between Uhuru and the deputy. So finally, the executive order that was signed by Uhuru Kenyatta, again, is throwing everything into disarray. The deputy president and his team have gone back to the drawing board, because this executive order is seen as clamping the deputy president powers. The budgeting, the autonomous, the independent budget within the deputy president's office has been taken away, and the deputy president office is now within the office of the president. This means that all the administrative functions within the deputy president office will be run from the president's office, including hiring and budgeting. So technically, this one is a move that will ensure that Deputy President does not wield a lot of power, as it were the case, as it has been the case all along. So the President is playing his cards, and we can see that. He also touched on the judiciary, and Maraga was very furious the other day, tweeting and saying that the judiciary is an independent body and therefore cannot be drawn or cannot be answerable to the presidency. So ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the major events that took place this week. I want to take this opportunity one more time to remind those who are coming in or joining us for the first time to hit the subscribe button. Take a second of your time and hit the subscribe button. And for those who subscribed to this channel, I want to take this opportunity to thank you a great deal. It is your support that has brought us this far. So please, we want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your reactions to the politics of Kenya and what has been happening around the world. So you can drop your comments, hit the like button, and let us grow together. Thank you so much, guys. Until next time, take care of yourselves.